Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is another Asian movie collection addendum video. Now if you've been following this playlist fairly recently, you'll know that I've gotten quite far behind in covering the movies that I've purchased over the last year and a half, but we're slowly working through them. Tonight we have a nice variety of films in multiple countries and industries represented here, and these are all Blu-ray purchases. So once in a while I like to showcase some old school DVD purchases that I've made recently, but though it won't be the case tonight. So let's get rolling. I'm actually going to start with the Korean movies. I got two of them here. And also another note is that a good chunk of the films that I'm covering tonight I already have reviewed on my channel at some point. So let's take a look at the first one here. Quite an interesting title, since this film is an older Korean film from 1981, and that is Suddenly in the Dark. Suddenly in the Dark. And this is a Mondo Macabro Blu-ray release, all region it looks like, ABC region at least. And this is a film from 1981, and it's classified as a horror film. And I actually reviewed this in my Asian horror playlist 5 years ago. If you go back to the videos that covered 1980s, you'll see a short review of this. A woman's idyllic middle-class life is disrupted when her husband brings home a beautiful young orphan to be their maid. At first she welcomes the pretty girl, in fact seems strangely fixated on her, but soon comes to suspect the girl is having an affair with her husband. And things kind of spiral from there. I haven't seen this film in a while. I saw it one time a while back, and I remember it having some pretty cool visuals, like some psychedelic type visuals at some points, and overall it was a pretty interesting and well-made film that was entertaining. I know it's actually available if you want to watch it for free on the Korean Film Archive channel on YouTube. At least it was on there last time I checked. And I remember this one being a good flick, especially the availability of Korean films before 2000 that were made before 2000 just continues to shrink. It was never that good, and it continues to shrink. But the Korean Film Archive just have a bunch of them. It's your main resource for older Korean cinema. And this is one to definitely check out. Special features, it has an interview with a producer, with a film critic, a little special feature I don't know what it's, Korean cover cavalcade, I don't even know what that is or what it means, and some previews for other Mondo films. So yeah, check this out. The previous title this was under was Suddenly in Dark Night, which I kind of like better than Suddenly in the Dark, even though it's a weirder title, but yeah, this is a good flick. I look forward to actually rewatching this, and I'll probably do a separate review of this in the future. Then the second Korean film we have is a Region A Blu-ray release. I don't even know, from Media Blasters. And that is Slate. I do have a full review of this that I just did recently. This is a recent Korean film from a few years ago, kind of like an action drama with some comedy in it. And basically it's about a girl who wants to be an action movie star, and she's transported to an alternate dimension that's kind of weird, and she has to fight to save a group of villagers. That's basically your premise. But if you want more details, check out my full-length review. I like this one. It's a nice little, almost little genre bender. Some of the fights are good, you know what I mean? I liked the lead actress. It's a little bit different. It's an indie production type thing, so it's not outlandishly budgeted CGI shenanigans. You're not going to get any of that here. So it has more of a down-to-earth type of execution to it, and I liked it. It's one that I'll watch again. Special features, doesn't look like there's any at all. But you can get it on Blu-ray. Region A. So that's another good one. So some good Korean purchases here, for sure. Now let's go to Japan. All right. Let's hit a big one here. I was really glad this got announced as a release. And this is from Unearthed Films. This is the Blu-ray release of 2LDK, Yukihiko Tsutsumi film. And remember, this is part of the director's duel he had with Ryuhei Kitamura, who directed Aragami. And I have a big review of both of these films in the same video and talking about the director duel. It's actually one of my favorite reviews I've done, so check out that video if you haven't already. And you get two struggling actresses share a Tokyo apartment. They compete for the same film role and the same boyfriend. So you know things are not going to turn out well. Things do not turn out. There's a violent conflict that erupts between them. It's a duel to the death. And if you want more info on the director's duel, you could check out my video on this and Aragami. But it's pretty interesting. They should do more stuff like this. I don't know why. It's a great gimmick. Get two directors together, have a director's duel, announce it to the public, and release both films at like the same time and have the public decide which film is better. I think it's a great gimmick for like marketing, and nobody ever does it. And I don't know. So that kind of makes the film special. This has only happened a handful of times in history where directors have legitimately like dueled each other with movies. Like, I'm going to make the better film than you. You know, they have certain like categories and restrictions they need to operate within. You get a commentary with both actresses in this, which was actually really entertaining. It was a really good commentary. Very lively, and they were kind of into it, and that you could tell they really enjoyed themselves in the film. The making of, international film festival interviews, premiere screening interviews, dual production briefing, a video message for the theater audience, screening at the Kudan Kaiken interviews, a photo gallery, and some trailers. So the special features are pretty good in this. Yeah. And given like the gimmick of the films and the marketing, it's worth watching some of the special features. They're fun. See, I really like this one. If I had to vote between the two films, I think 2LDK is edges out Aragami as my favorite. So Tsutsumi won. Sorry, Ryuhei. And this is a Region A release. Check it out. It's good. Now, there has been an announcement recently of a Sonny Chiba box set coming out later this year, I think. It's got like half a dozen movies or something like that. And I'm, of course, going to pick that up. Sonny Chiba is an actor that I've actually been exploring more recently, ironically, over the past 10 years. It's just hard to figure out where to start with his filmography. So some of the films I watched, I think a few years ago, was the Street Fighter collection. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Brutal and brilliant. Fans owe it to themselves to go buy this, says Empire Magazine. This was a Shout factory release. You get the Street Fighter, Return of the Street Fighter, and Street Fighter's Last Revenge. So meet the meanest and most lethal karate master ever to rule the streets. He's Sonny Chiba, son. One of the greatest martial arts actors to ignite the screen. He's a mercenary who's been hired by both the Yakuza and the Mafia to kidnap a wealthy heiress. But when he isn't paid, a violent clash will ensue. And then the sequels, carry on from there. You get new scans, new interview with Sonny Chiba, new interview with filmmaker Jack Shoulder, some trailers and a still gallery. So yeah, I watched these whenever I bought this. I think it was last year when I purchased this. And yes, they're quite entertaining. I mean, like, if you just want straight up action flicks with, like, dudes beating the crap out of each other, this is a good set to get. You could just do a triple header of all three movies in a night, because they're not that long. They range between 80 minutes and 91 minutes. So you can knock out all three of these in a marathon one night. And again, this is a Region A release. I should review all three of these in one video, I think, at some point. I'm going to do that. I've been meaning to, but I'll have to rewatch them and refresh my memory. But yes, these are good flicks. Street Fighter. And also, one thing I wanted to mention, I kind of wish Japan would make more movies like this, especially nowadays. Just get some dudes who know martial arts. Have like just a cop film where they're shaking down bad guys. and you use your Japanese martial arts against them. Like, they don't have to be big budget flicks. You don't have to have big action set pieces. I find it difficult that there wouldn't be a market for that, either internationally or in Japan. So, yeah, I kind of wish they would make more stuff like that. The next film I've been talking about multiple times on this channel and other channels, it was kind of a surprise, kind of a film that came out of nowhere, and that's Tezuka's Barbara. And this is a Region B release from Third Window Films, Blu-ray. These are all Blu-rays tonight, I believe. And I have a separate review of this. Oh, actually, this is an all-region release. It's A, B, and C, so keep that in mind. And, yeah, check out my separate review of this if you want details. You get Fumi Nakaido in the lead role. And this is one of Osamu Tezuka's most adult and sexually charged works. Barbara was originally serialized back in the 70s, and the story deals with the erotic and bizarre experiences of a famous novelist whose life is tossed upside down by a mysterious girl named Barbara. And I think it was directed by Tezuka's son, actually directed this. And yeah, check out my separate review for more information. I hope this director's other films get a release as well. He did direct a few other interesting flicks. This has behind-the-scenes interviews with the staff and cast, and deleted scenes and an alternate ending, so some decent stuff here. The staff and cast interviews are quite good in this one. Very, stylish movie, kind of sexually charged and psychological. I enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. This is one that I'll watch multiple times in the future. And Fumi Nakaido is always good. Another film I reviewed on this channel, Juzo Itami's The Funeral. Nice to see Criterion releasing some of Itami's films. They did Tampopo and this. Man, that would be nice if they released some of his other stuff from the 80s. It would be great. But yeah, The Funeral, it's basically about a family that holds a funeral, and that's your movie. And it's about the logistics of the funeral setup and the interaction of the characters before and at the funeral. And it's really cool. There's a lot of cultural nuance in this as well. And good performances, and probably one of the most hilarious car chase scenes that I've ever seen in any film ever. It's just I just can't help but laugh hysterically every time that scene happens. This has new interviews with the actors, some special features featurettes, commercials, trailers, an essay by author Pico Iyer about the film. So it's a pretty good set of special features. And yes, it's nice to see some of these Japanese films from the 80s get some releases. I like that. Kind of a decade that's not explored a lot in Japanese film. So it's nice to see they're getting more exposure. The Funeral's good flick. It's a Region A release. And then finally, another film that I reviewed. Sabu's Dangan Runner. There's Shinichi Tsutsumi right on the front cover there. Now this is the Third Window's Region B release. It's not all region. And from Japanese director Sabu, the story is about three losers brought together by fate with disastrous results. A would-be bank robber botches a heist, and he gets chased by a store clerk who he angers. And then you get a Yakuza who chases both of them. So it's a chase movie, and these guys are running on the streets for most of the film. But it's actually really entertaining. This is a good flick. Special features, you get a video essay by Tom Mess, an interview with the director, an audio commentary by Jasper Sharp, and a trailer. So Dangan Runner is a good one from Sabu. And we need more Sabu movies. Postman Blues desperately needs a release. Monday desperately needs it. There's multiple movies from this director that need releases. So who knows? Maybe Third Window will release more of them. If we could get more Juzo Itami films from Criterion and more Sabu movies from Third Window, I will be happy in the next few years. Because both those directors need more coverage. For sure. Alright, now we move to Hong Kong. And we basically have one Johnny To film, and the rest are all Dante Lam films. For Johnny To, we got PTU. This is the Eureka release, Region B Blu-ray. This is a good flick. Most of Johnny To's films are good, but set against a Hong Kong that never sleeps, a stolen police gun triggers a suspenseful chain of events. Attempting to track down his missing gun before dawn, Sergeant Lowe has his car vandalized and then he's beaten up. But he finds himself wedged between two gangs on the brink of a bloodbath, and then his police tactical unit partners, who include Simon Yam, attempt to help him find his gun without incident. It's a pretty cool flick. Check out my full-length review of it. Of course, I have one for this one. Kind of like a... they actually shot the entire film, I think, on real-life locations in Hong Kong. I don't think there were any sets in this. So it's pretty interesting seeing that. The whole film takes place at night, I believe. And it's one of those where, the interaction between the characters is really what drives it, and To is really good at that stuff. He doesn't focus too much on characters sitting down and explaining how they feel and why they're doing stuff, so you kind of got to pay attention and read between the lines. But that's what makes some of this stuff good, man. You get a slipcase in this. Feature-length audio commentary by Frank Zhang. Very good commentary. I listened to it. Archival interview with Johnny To and Simon Yam. Another archival interview with Johnny To. Another one with Simon Yam and Maggie Hsu. Collector's booklet and a trailer. So again, if you want some good 21st century Hong Kong cinema, check out PTU. Now, it's all Dante Lam. A few of these I have reviews on my channel. A few of them I don't. So let's do the ones that I have reviews on my channel first. Let's see. We got this one. We got this one. And we got this one. So I guess 3 of the 6 I reviewed. The other 3 I have not. Alright. That Demon Within. I do have a review of this one. This is like a thriller. More of a thriller than an action flick. And this was released... I don't know who released this. These are all Hong Kong releases, I believe, by the way. By a strange twist of fate, dutiful Hong Kong policeman David Wong saves the life of the leader of a violent gang of armed robbers. But when they commit another crime, he's determined to put an end to their activities. So you got Daniel Wu in the lead role, and Nick Chung has another big role in this. And this movie is extremely psychological. Extremely. Very stylish and visually engaging. But I feel like the script isn't deep enough to really take the potential to its highest level. So I think it's almost like the premise and the character interaction are what drive this. The depth could have been better, I think. But I really enjoy it. Check out my full-length review. I think the performances are solid. Something about Daniel Wu, he has so much screen presence. I just love watching the guy on screen. And Nick Chung, obviously, is really good. This is an all-region release, by the way. I want to say I got this off of DDD House or Yes Asia. So yeah, check it out. And check out my review of it if you want more info on it. Then we have Fire of Conscience. Okay, this is a Region A release. And this one is like, if you want like an all-out action flick, again, this is not an all-out action flick. Neither is that Demon Within. This is like spurts of action violence that's pretty violent. Like when people die in this one, they get torn up pretty good. But the investigation of a prostitute homicide brings headstrong, heavy-handed detective Manfred in an unlikely collaboration with sly man-of-the-world Inspector Key from the Narcotics Bureau. And things move along from there. You got Leon Lai and Richie Jen in the lead roles here. And, this is another one. It's just, Dante Lam has, like, there's some of his movies that are, like, all-out action, and then some of his movies that are, like, a blend, or kind of like a thriller with some action mixed in. And check out my full-length review of this if you want more details, but I like it. I just like the film. It's got that character interaction element, that keeps you engaged. Most of Dante Lam films I could sit through at the very least. There's very few that I really dislike. Even at his worst, he's usually pretty watchable. Very, very reliable director. And special features on both of these isn't much. This had none. This one just has some trailers and a making of. But I doubt they're English subtitled. And then the third film that I already have a review of on my channel here is, what do you even call this? Unbeatable. Unbeatable. Now, unlike the first two films that we covered here, this one is probably the highest of the first three that we're covering of Dante Lam's. That has just good traditional filmmaking qualities. You have good character development. They're multidimensional. A good story. Good conflict. And this is just good quality stuff. After a stint in prison for participating in fixed boxing, former boxing champ Fore, played by Nick Chung, is knee-deep in debt with no solution in sight. To escape his debtors, Fore escapes to Macau and works in a gym as an assistant instructor. And then Eddie Peng shows up, once the son of a rich man in mainland China, but family business failed. And he starts training at Nick Chung's gym. So, and then they, things go on from there. This is kind of this is a mixed martial arts fighting movie, and it's good. It's just good quality stuff. If you're into movies about boxing or mixed martial arts, I'd say go check this one out, man. Check it out. This is a Region A release, and special features are really not even on here. Oh, it says bonus. There's some bonus features on here, but it's all in Chinese, so I can't tell what it is. Yes. Now the three that I have not reviewed. Yet. I might. You got The Sniper. Now, I mentioned that Dante Lam at his worst is still watchable. This is a good example. Sniper, not as good or intriguing as any of the films I've looked at here in this video so far for Dante. This is a region... Man, what region is this? It doesn't even say on the thing. I assume it's Region A, but I don't know. Huh. I bought this on a DDD House. Most of these were DDD House or Yes Asia purchases, so they are legit. But yeah, the Sniper, you basically got comprising the shadowy world of Sniper with intelligence of weapons knowledge and the vibe of traditional wushu universe comes a new blend of cop action thriller that strikes the world with bullet impact. Who wrote this? This is just nonsense plot description. I swear this is a legitimate release, folks. But in any case, you get Edison Chen and Richie Jen in some of the lead roles here. So, this film I think was marred by Edison Chen's scandal in real life. So they pushed it back a year or two to the late 2000s. You basically have urban sniper warfare, which sounds awesome on paper. And some of the action, some of the sniper scenes are good. They're good. There's not a lot of them, though. The pacing kind of hurts us a little bit. It's a little slow. And the plot's just kind of basic. But again, the conflict is good. And the sniper scenes are pretty good. It's pretty good. That's my review. That's why I didn't review it in a full-length review. I got, like, nothing to say. It's, it's pretty good. But if you're expecting something that's, like, Hong Kong action, you'll probably be disappointed in this. So, special features are trailer, making of, and deleted scenes. But again, it's not bad. Then we have one that's a little bit better than this. I think Sniper's the worst film we're covering in the 6 here of Dante Lam films tonight. This is a Region A release, and that is The Viral Factor. Again, not one of his best, but it's got some good leads. Got Nicholas Che and oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot his name. Oh man, I gotta look it up. I can't believe I forgot his name. Jay Chow, that's it. Jay Chow or Jay Chu. And yeah, they're good. You basically got, I mean, the plot is so generic. I almost don't even want to read it to you. But it's an agent sustains injuries on a mission, decides to spend his final days with his mother. She tells him a long-held secret to fulfill her wishes. He goes to Southeast Asia. He befriends a medical specialist, but when she's forced into the schemes of a criminal organization, he attempts rescue and becomes the target of an organization that includes his... Well, I can't say that. That's a spoiler. But when the organization betrays someone and kidnaps someone, these two guys got to take care of business. I mean, it's like... Oh boy, it's a it's an action film that where two guys need to save the world or whatever. Like, so when it plays out, you're just like shaking your head at its generic aspects. But it's like fast paced. It's faster paced than the Sniper, even though this run time's longer. I like both leads, and the action's good. It's nothing great, but it's good. That's your review. I mean, it's just a sufficiently entertaining action flick. No special features on this. So, not the first Dante Lam film you're going to watch, but it's, hey, if you're a diehard fan, you'll get something out of this. I could watch this again, to be honest with you. And then, a surprisingly good film that I'm probably more motivated to review in a separate review. To the Fore. It's a bicycling movie, yes. So, you got a really good MMA fighting movie and a really good bicycling movie from an action director. So, this is a good flick. Eddie Peng continues to impress me because he's quite good in this as well. And this is one of the earlier films that really made me a fan of him. Although this is actually a little bit later. This is like a mid-2010s film. But the interplay between a bicycling team's brilliant leader, Zheng Jiwan, and the two windbreakers, Ming and Tian, has won them countless victories, including the defeat of arch-rival Phantom. The team's success is undermined when competition heats up within, each aspiring to be number one. So, it's kind of like that, kind of like a teamwork/rivalry bicycling movie, which sounds boring, but it's not. It's actually really good. You have like really good dynamics between the characters. I think if I remember correctly, they're pretty multidimensional. And I think it was, who's the Korean actor who's in this? I want to say it was Choi Siwon. Really quite good in this as well, and he plays off of Eddie quite well. Yeah, this, if you want like a sleeper kind of under the radar Hong Kong flick that's actually pretty cool, To the Fore is a good flick. I'm going to have to do a review of this one. I haven't seen it in a while, too. Really, no special feature. This is Region A and C. The first time I think I've ever seen that on a Blu-ray. All right. Yeah, it's another one for you. So yeah, that's a nice little batch of films here. Nice variety. And I'll be back with another update eventually. I'll probably do a horror update in October for you. And as always, we will see you next time.